Thompson. Thompson here. Carr.
Here.
Carr here. Pittman.
Here.
Pittman here. Slattery.
Here.
Slattery here. Poulos.
Here.
Poulos here. Johnson.
Here.
Johnson here. Frausto.
Here.
Frausto here. Bellato.
Here.
Bellato here. Vieta.
Here.
Vieta here. Rita.
Here.
Here. Donahue.
Here.
Donahue here. 14 present.
Thank you very much. Presentation of general procedures and motion to approve the city council minutes for the date of September 11th, 2018. Do I have a motion? Alderman Fernwell, second by Alderman Poulos. Any questions?
Holly.
Aye.
Holly, aye. Fernwell.
Aye.
Fernwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson. Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Frausto.
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 14 ayes.
Thank you very much. Before public comment, again, it's either Alderman Fernwell and Mr. Leslie Kennedy. Want to hold your phone?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Your Honor. City Council, but I'm Leslie Kennedy, and I'm one of the city attorneys for the city of Blue Island.
You want to bring the mic up a little bit?
Sure, I'm not used to speaking into a mic. I'm here because I wanted to talk to you a little bit before public comment about the public comment ordinance, to bring it to your attention why there's a need for one, and to bring it to the public's attention as well. As you know, I've sent out a memo explaining how this public comment ordinance all came about. It came about because a complaint was filed by a citizen complaining that the city council violated the Open Meetings Act. And when that occurs, the public access counselor sends to the municipality, or governmental body, a letter telling them to file a response. And when they do that, they often request certain information or documents and records. And one of the things that was requested of the city was your public comment ordinance. Lo and behold, I do a little search and find out you do not have one. Public comment rules or ordinance is required by the Open Meetings Act. And that's how this came about. That's how this.
Yeah, it did.
It goes in and out. Okay, I'll just talk about it. So that's how that came about. This wasn't some attempt to create draconian rules or anything. It was an attempt to comply, have the city comply with the law as stated in the Open Meetings Act. So it was brought to the Judiciary Committee's attention, and a draft was created and considered by the Judiciary Committee on 2 occasions. There's things in the ordinance, and you're free to change anything as long as it complies with the law. Things that you should know and be aware of is the law only requires you to allow public comment on agenda items. After consideration by the Judiciary Committee, they wanted to allow for more than that. And so your ordinance allows for more than is required under the law. It allows for public comment on agenda and non-agenda items at regular meetings. That's something you can consider, and you could amend the ordinance by not allowing public comment on non-agenda items. Well, the current ordinance does allow this. It does allow you are required under the law to have reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions, such as moving a disruptive person. Now, even if that's not in the ordinance, that's something you can still do. So the ordinance sets forth a procedure. In fact, it has an appeal procedure to give the citizens rights that may not have been there if that was not codified and in the ordinance. Because again, even if it's not in the ordinance, the mayor at a regular meeting or a presiding officer at a committee meeting, if someone is disrupting the meeting, and as indicated in the ordinance, what his disruptive behavior is, they could still remove that person or have that person removed. So even if it's not in the ordinance, it is not going to go away. So I just wanted to bring these things to your attention and to the public's attention, so that the public is aware that this is required by law. And again, if there's amendments that the city council wishes to make to the ordinance, you are certainly free to do so and make motions for amendments. And that's how this all came about. I believe Bill, who's the Alderman Fairwell, who's head of judiciary, also wanted to discuss or comment on saying before public comment.
Thank you. Actually, you've pretty well covered what I wanted to say, probably better than I could have. I just want to reinforce that I know that the city attorney, I'm sure the city council, I can speak for myself, want to facilitate an orderly and fair and reasonable public comment. It's very important for us to have public comment. I think we all understand that. Obviously, as she has pointed out, it's important. It's more than important. It's required by law that we have an ordinance providing for this. And this ordinance has been I think she did a really great job of striking a balance. I agree with her. If there's some issues we want to discuss tonight and make amendments, we're certainly more than open to that. But you know, when I first saw the ordinance, I wondered about it myself. How's this going to be? How's it going to affect our public discourse? And after reading it and talking about it on the committee, I'm very comfortable that it's essentially it's a very reasonable ordinance. It does the job it's supposed to do without getting in the way of public comment. Pretty much what it does is sort of codify what we've already done here at City Council. It's not a lot different than what we've been doing all along. So, and I'm sure we'll have public comment on it, and then we'll have it up for review and we can talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll open up for public comment. Again, limited to 3 minutes. I would just need your name and address, whoever wants to come up and speak.
Good evening. My name is Ben Silver, and I'm a community lawyer with the Citizen Advocacy Center. CAC is a nonprofit, nonpartisan community legal organization dedicated to promoting and preserving access, accountability, and transparency in state and local government in Illinois. For almost 25 years, CAC has advocated for citizen participation in local government, supporting the Freedom of Information Act, the Open Meetings Act, and the First Amendment. Tonight's agenda includes a proposed ordinance that would govern public comments and recordings of public meetings. I am here to inform the City Council that this policy violates the Open Meetings Act on several fronts and would also violate the First Amendment protections for free speech. Frankly, this policy contains too many flaws for me to cover in just 3 minutes, but I will highlight some of the most unacceptable and draconian parts. The Open Meetings Act allows for reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions on public comments. However, restrictions on speech that are not content neutral are not valid unless they meet a compelling governmental interest, are narrowly tailored to meet that interest, and are the least restrictive means of doing so. The Supreme Court recently reaffirmed this principle in Reed v. Town of Gilbert. The policy before the council today contains content-based restrictions, rules prohibited by the Open Meetings Act according to the Illinois Attorney General, and other policies sure to chill public speech. The policy requires members of the public to identify topics and prohibits non-respectful, irrelevant, and repetitive comments. Each of these goes to the content of the speech. They are direct violations of the First Amendment. The policy requires a speaker to identify or address ward or area of residence. In 2014, the Illinois Attorney General issued a binding determination that public bodies may not require speakers to provide an address, reasoning that the requirement could have a chilling effect on speech. It may be wise for a resident to share her address in order to establish who represents her in the city, but it cannot be required. Further, the proposed policy creates a system of punishment that is overbroad, discretionary, and lacks required due process. Specifically, it bans a member of the public from attending a meeting where his own appeal may be heard. This also likely violates the Open Meetings Act with a strong presumption of access. The Open Meetings Act specifically allows witnesses who are testifying before a commission, administrative agency, or other tribunal to request that they not be recorded. The City Council is not a commission, administrative agency, or other tribunal. Public commenters are not witnesses providing testimony except under specific circumstances with specific bodies. Therefore, the policy allowing the presiding officer to restrict video recording violates the Open Meetings Act. Citizen Advocacy Center serves as a resource for constituents and government officials alike. We would be happy to assist the City Council as it crafts a public comment policy that complies with the Open Meetings Act and both the United States and Illinois Constitution. Thank you.
My comments are going to be brief. I wrote something so I could get to the point. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak here today. My name is Mary Jo Dunleavy. I'm with Affordable Recovery Housing. 4 years ago, I stood in front of you council members and I answered questions about our organization. Unfortunately, we had to go to litigation, which clearly cost the taxpayers of the Blue Island a lot of money. So the judge ruled in our favor. Our facility is licensed in state Illinois Department of Human Services, state regulated, and the judge ruled that the state does not need the city to regulate our organization. Who benefited from the lawsuit? Not us, not you. Who benefited was the billable hours from your attorneys, which cost the taxpayer money. Now I'm standing here 4 years later and I am totally confused. ARH received, or Affordable Recovery Housing, received a letter to cease and dismiss our operation, which clearly goes against what the judge ruled in November of 2014. The only thing that I could think that why this harassment is starting again is clearly because the Libby building has been donated to us. There's some ulterior motive here. I don't know, the chain of events this past month is baffling. We requested an inspection of the Libby building, we received a list of code violations, and then we applied for the permits to make the changes to that building. It is now September, and we cannot get any answers from the city. Our attorney has reached out to the city attorney. Numerous calls have been made by our attorney. I emailed the city council to let you know what was going on because I found out you guys were in the dark about this. We want to revitalize that building and bring it back to life. I have businesses that are inquiring to open up in that building, which will be jobs to the community. This will bring, is this election year? I just want to know. Last week, the fire department broke into the Libby building and trespassed on my property, calling it a training. We are the owners of that property, and we had no knowledge that somebody was going to trespass and break into our property. We were going to follow a police report, but I'm coming here telling you I don't want to go through this again. I have questioned the motives behind such discrimination and harassment. When you have your judgment day, I hope your hands are clean. Ask yourself if you're doing the best job for these residents. One more thing. I don't want to go into litigation. Last time, I had a nervous breakdown, had cancer and everything else over this stuff. But I'll be damned, I went to my husband and I said, I'm ready to fight with everything that I have. And I will go to litigation. And I will fight and find out who is responsible for harassing us one more time. And I will personally sue you for the discrimination and the harassment of the operation that has been there and with no disturbances for 4 years. So the only solution that I have, and the only thing is the Libby building. Please, give us our permits so we can start fixing it up. And I want to know. I don't want to say this, but I want to know. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not, because I'm better than that.
Come on, say it.
Say it.
No. I just want to know. It's a conflict of interest that your personal attorney is the city attorney now. Is it a conflict of interest? Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Don, City Council members. I'm glad to be here today. I did all kind of physical checkups last 6 months. This came from my colostomy doctor and says I'm doing good. Doing good. As I don't know if some people know, this month is Hispanic Heritage Month. And I was born and raised in this town. When I was a kid, back in the 50s, 60s, there's probably less than 2% Hispanics in the South. The only Hispanics were in Gypsy Town by Clark and Primary and Vermont Street. You know, now there's a lot of Hispanics here, a lot of Hispanics. Back when I was a kid, there's no businesses, no taco stands, no nothing. Now the Hispanics are doing well. And also, too, I'd like to just mention this coming weekend, Bethel Pentecostal Church is celebrating the 70th anniversary. So we're having services Saturday and Sunday. If anybody would like to stop by, just say, you know, pay respect and reverence. You know, and also to keep Reverend Contreras in prayer. He's got some medical issues more or less. Like I said, he's done a lot for the city, a lot. And okay, I got a few issues. I live at one. Okay, I forgot to mention my name. My name is Thomas Madrigal. I live at 13427 Mozart. This past year, I must have called the police 10 times because my neighbors across the alley constantly play loud music, constantly after 10, 11 o'clock. I was trying to figure out if there's any way the city could cite them for, you know, just, because in my block, we got 4. Unfortunately, I'm a young senior citizen, but there's a lot of older people living there. And they should be allowed to do that, you know. And also, too, there's a lot of cars in our area, a lot. And I've noticed that some people park, you know, I guess they have businesses, they park their cars by where they live at, so forth. It takes up too much spots. And I know where I live at, there's a lot of people at Trader Courts, they park their vehicles in our block, and also I can't even have guests to visit me more or less. So I wonder to see if the city could check into that. And that's all I have to say, and thank you very much for letting me say a few words. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. My name is Rose Baker, and I don't think I have to give my address according to what that person says. I do live in Blue Island, and he's my alderman. He'll vouch sort of where I live. I just had 2 things that kind of jumped out at me. Number one, the ordinance. Where can I read the full ordinance? Because I could not find it anywhere to get the verbiage on what it is that I guess the council is going to vote on. And then one concern that I just had, because it wasn't quite clear here either, if I have a concern or an issue and I can't talk about it because it's not on the agenda, how do I get it on the agenda? You're pointing to somebody, I don't know who you're pointing to. That's my only question, because it was very confusing. I couldn't find the ordinance. It doesn't give all of the details, so thank you very much.
You want to explain?
Sure. So we've had to shed a little light on this for you. The ordinance that is up for the city council tonight actually would permit you to talk as you just did, because it doesn't restrict to we made that change. And then the process that we go through doesn't generally permit easy access to draft ordinances, and I don't think there's a evil intent behind that, but they're changing all the time when they're working in committee. Certainly you're welcome to attend committee meetings, and I would say, you know, from the experience of my committee, usually there's no one there or maybe one resident there. And that is really the most effective place that you can come and have input into and, you know, find out what's going on. So I would really encourage everyone who feels strongly about wanting to be involved in government that the committees are really, and I've said this before, the committees are where it happens. And come attend. It's really the best place for you to find out what's going on.
Hello, my name is Mark Keener, and I'd like to speak on behalf of Mary Jo and John Dunleavy and their entire staff at Affordable Recovery, that they have been real pillars in our community. And they've done an awful lot to improve our neighborhood and to help build the foundations for a lot of progress and growth. They've also been fine examples of their Christian ministry that, you know, Jesus tells us that when we feed people who are hungry, when we take care of people who are sick, when we help people who've been in prison, when we welcome the stranger, it's like we're doing that to God himself. And that's what Mary Jo and John have been doing at Affordable Recovery. And I think we should really be grateful for them. and grateful to them and provide whatever support we can as they work to improve their ministry in our community. I'd also like to address this public comment ordinance, that it's important to see that whenever you're making a decision like this, is this increasing public access? Is this increasing people's ability to speak out, to become involved, to become civically engaged? Or is it something that hinders them? If somebody walks in here to speak, they have to go find a sign-in sheet if the city clerk hasn't taken it away already. If they do find the sign-in sheet, then they're told they have to look at the 6-page ordinance and make sure they aren't breaking any of the rules, or the mayor can, on a subjective personal whim, have them hauled out of a meeting. These are not things that promote democracy. They don't promote access. They don't promote empowering the citizens. They're a obstruction. They're a block. They're in the way. You can write a public comment ordinance, and I think you should, but it can be very simple. It can be things like, state your name. You have 3 minutes. These things have been written up and put on the Casa Blue Island website. And as Rose mentioned, we also got a copy of the city's proposed ordinance, and we put that on the Casa Blue Island website also. So if you're interested in looking at these ordinances, compare them side to side, you can do that on the internet. On a private internet, Casa Blue Island, not the city's internet, but you can do that. And you can also find out from the Citizens Advocacy Center some of the recommendations that they make on these issues. So I would ask that the City Council put this back to the drawing board and not pass this ordinance tonight, and look for a reasonable ordinance, and an ordinance that empowers the public, that engages people civically. So I think that's all of your responsibility, and I hope that you follow through with that tonight.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Orozco, and I don't come to City Council as much as I used to. And, shame on me. And I do go to some of the committee meetings, but one thing I want to do is the lady who was up here, I think her name was Rose. I don't know if you pay attention to our environment, but I did notice, and I even mentioned to the trustees at the library, we have a lot of homeless people here, in Blue Island. And if we have some place that's gonna help them, it'll help the whole city, The library has, well, that's a place where a lot of people go in the daytime when they don't have anywhere else to go. And it is an issue, you don't want anyone hiding in your basement or trying to break in your garage because they don't have nowhere to live. Blue Island already, as a committee, we got our minimum wage is lower than everyone else. So therefore, people's not going to be able to take care of themselves. So we're going to have more people that's not able, no homeless, basically. But I do want to thank the lady, and I hope y'all go ahead and let her repair the building, because we have people here who need homes. You might be comfortable in your home, but if you look outside your door and a homeless person with a shopping cart is sitting on your grass, you're going to be upset. That's one thing. Another thing, a new ordinance that they brought up. It looks like to me you want to stop people from talking. I'm one of the probably have the biggest mouth in Blue Island, among other things. But it's only because I plan to stay here. I love Blue Island. I got another generation of Orozcos here. And I got to make sure it's right, And I'm not going to shut up. You can write whatever ordinance you want to. And if I can't talk to you, you. I'm gonna talk to Springfield, I'm gonna talk to senators, I'm gonna talk to the House of Representatives, Homeland Security, FBI, you know, Internal Revenue, and I'm not gonna say Blue Island City Council. I'm gonna mention name, I'm going to the internet, I'm gonna get your picture, I'm gonna make sure they know who I'm talking about, you know, because you do supposed to represent us. And if we have concern, true, I could go to an alderman, I could go to quite a few, any of you, you know, but if you can't solve my problem or won't let me talk, you know, I'll do whatever I have to do to get the job done. That's all I have to say.
For the city officials, presentations, resolutions. First one's Halloween hours for October 31st, 2018, from 3 p.m. until 7 p.m. We got a motion by Alderman Bellato, and a second by Alderman Vieira. Any questions?
Ollie. Aye. Ollie, aye. Farinwald.
Aye.
Hello, how y'all
Farinwald,
doing,
aye.
ladies and gentlemen?
Hustling.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen?
Aye.
I just heard about this, ordinance that y'all gonna pass. Well, the way people were talking and stuff like that, and you trying to, stop people from talking and. No. People from talking and stuff like that. You're not? Okay, tell me what it's about. No. He was, no.
This isn't the place for this. I'm sorry.
I know, but he was speaking to me. I want to hear from him. You don't have nothing to say.
I do have plenty to say, but this is not the right forum.
Oh, not that time.
Want to
So
come
we'll
down?
move on with the public comment, but we'd be more than happy to speak with you once we finish the meeting.
Oh, okay, but, you know, a lot of people say it's a stupid idea, but, you know, that's my opinion, y'all opinion.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Y'all get it right.
Thank you.
So far, Alderman Thompson. Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Frausto.
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 14 ayes.
Thank you very much. Mayor's announcements. Over the weekend, I know some of the aldermen, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Are we getting involved as you usually do with the trunk or treat this year?
From my understanding, Trunk or Treat was always the Park District, you know, and us.
Right, but I know you participated in it. That was-
I mean, if we can organize something for John D. Peter, send it to one there, and then it's, I know the Park District always does one.
Yeah, we can join the park, you know, since they have it.
It was passed on the last agenda. That's
Regarding those tree planting over the weekend, 59 trees, a lot of the aldermen participated. Got up early Saturday morning, volunteered, and different volunteers from veterans, by Veterans School, and then the other one by Kerr Middle School. Total this year, approximately 90, repeat, 90 trees have been planted to increase Blue Island's canopy. Hopefully next year again. That's been one of the slogans that was formulated here in Blue Island. Think big, B-I-G-G, Blue Island, going green. And that's a major, I think from all of us, as aldermen. Again, all of us want to be green here in Blue Island, generation after generation, to make sure that future generations see what green trees are about and continue living and protecting our resources. So again, to all those volunteers and to future volunteers, I know Val Kehoe was a big part of it. Tom Hall, Alderman Hawley, Alderman Farrenwall, and everybody else. I know Alderman Carr was there, Alderman Bellato was there, and if I'm missing someone, I apologize. Randy was up on the other side, so I didn't see it. And Alderman Thompson. Again, congratulations to all of you for continuing to protect our environment here locally on the island. I'm going to ask this, if you guys know what the results are. Again, barbecue on the hill was a very busy weekend. barbecue on the hill at the Park District, and then with the fireworks and that. From what I saw, it was a success, and they keep going on. The week before then, so you know, there was a lot of volunteers from the Rock Island Public House who helped clean up the SEPA station. We were out there cleaning up, picking up garbage, and I want to give Public Works a big hand. They've been back and forth, and again, we need your help regarding graffiti. That is your park, that is your Chatham Bridge, that is your Division Street Bridge. The vandalism, if you see it, call 911 or do something. I mean, it's constant, unfortunately, whether they're from Blue Island or from out of Blue Island, I don't know. But it's a shame. The investment of those bridges, the investment on that SEPA station, and to see the graffiti, those are gems of our city. And when you got visitors coming and looking at that, it doesn't look good. But again, we will continue being on top of it. I know the aldermen are on top of it, and we will continue stressing that. City Clerk, any business?
No business.
Any bids?
No bids, Your Honor.
Mr. Treasurer.
Yes, Your Honor. All the aldermen should receive the transfer of funds from the funds. Total 152 for 2018. Accounts payable.
Need a motion? Motion by Alderman Ostling. Do I have a second by Alderman Carr? Any questions? Roll call, please.
Holly. Aye. Holly, aye. Farinwald.
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling. Osling, aye. Thompson. Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos. Poulos, aye. Johnson.
No.
Johnson, no. Fausto.
Aye.
Fausto, aye. Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 13 ayes and 1 no.
Thank you. Nothing further? Okay. City Attorney.
Yes, members of the council, we have 11 ordinances on the agenda. The first is ordinance number 2018-048, an ordinance amending Title II, Administration, Chapter 30, City Council of the Blue Island Municipal Code by adding rules for public comment and non-official recording of public meetings. Before you consider this ordinance, I do think it's important that you understand the genesis of bringing this before you. On July 20th, the Attorney General from the state of Illinois wrote a letter to the mayor indicating that the Public Access Bureau had received a request for review in which a Mr. Mark Kuhner alleged that this city council violated the Open Meetings Act. It indicated that the city council had violated the act by not permitting several members to address the council concerning the Island Sports Bar and Grill, including the owner's legal representative. The Attorney General then we have determined that further action is warranted. So what they did then is that they stated, and this is verbatim, in order to further evaluate this matter, we request that the council or its representative provide a detailed written response to the allegations raised by Mr. Kuhner's request for review. Please provide this office with a copy of the minutes, draft form if necessary, agenda, and any recording of the June 19, 2018 meeting, and then this is what brought this about, as well as a copy of the council's rules regarding public comment. And then they footnoted and they said, Section 2.06G of the Open Meetings Act requires any person to be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the public body. So, with this in mind, our office, primarily Leslie Kennedy, attempted to respond and determined that the city did not have rules for public comment. Not that it was ever determined to be necessary or essential, except the Attorney General said you're supposed to have them. So a draft was prepared. I believe it was reviewed extensively by the Judiciary Committee. There was never an attempt to suggest that the public in the city of Blue Island would not have an opportunity to speak to you, to come to you, to request information from you. It was an attempt to satisfy the Attorney General that the city is in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. And that is why the ordinance was in fact prepared. And that is what you have before you this evening. It may not be a perfect work. It may require certain amendments, but until this evening, this is the best that we could compile using our research, reviewing other ordinances from other communities, and hoping to allow for continuous open dialogue between public and this city council. So I bring that to your attention because I think it's important for you to understand that no one is trying to close the public out. And that's a misconception, and it's being misconstrued before you. If this ordinance needs additional amendments, so be it. The Advocacy Center, I believe that's what it's called, they could certainly make suggestions if they care to that we would be happy to look at. But this was a difficult thing to address, and we're required to address it. And so that's why it was brought before you without any further delay, because in July, that's when the Attorney General first corresponded with the municipality on this complaint. That being said, Mrs. Kelly, we'd be happy to answer your questions.
I'm gonna let her talk.
I apologize for being out of order. I apologize. I couldn't agree more that there needs to be rules for decorum and behavior and proper etiquette during a city council meeting. And I understand that completely. That is just common sense, courtesy, not a problem. And I understand that. My problems are as follows. I have been to city council meetings before, and through a lot of them, no offense, but some of them spend the meetings texting. That's offensive to me. Okay? So I don't appreciate that. Okay? My problems are as follows. If I come to the meeting late and I miss the sign-in sheet, I don't get to talk. Some people have traffic, some people came from a doctor, some people, you know.
So that's why things are going to have to be tweaked.
Yeah, but if you propose and pass the ordinance as it stands now, and then you say you make amendments, that's the problem, is you're amending something that we already disagree with. I want you to change the ordinance as it stands and hopefully tweak it, because as you can tell, we don't appreciate some of the wording as it is now. And if you can kind of notice, a lot of citizens have come to talk about it, and we're not disagreeing with the fact that, you know, we need to behave and we need to act properly in here. We're disagreeing with the fact that we need to give our address. Some of you have taken me to my house, you know where I live, it's not a secret, I'm not worried about anything like that, and I'm not worried. I'm just worried about some of the phrasing in there. So please don't pass it, please rephrase it, and try and pass it again later when people are happier with it. That's what I'm asking.
Thank you. Yeah, I concur with that there are concerns and we need to hear them. I do believe, just to answer the question you just raised, and I'd have to check through it, but I believe the ordinance calls for an option of your address, your ward, or your city.
It does not.
No, it doesn't. It must say.
It requires you to say your address.
It's an option.
They probably
You may have an old copy.
Okay, it's possible we have an old copy,
You may have an old copy.
but that's what we're working on. But here's the thing, we have an old copy, but we don't know what other things are in there. So if you rephrase things and it looks wonderful now, we don't even know that. It might be beautiful and we might love it, but we don't know that.
Fair enough.
And so can we be happy with something that you guys are passing? Because you guys represent us. You guys we voted you in. We said, please do these things for us. Please be there for us. Please. Please represent your people. We will behave as we're supposed to. We don't disagree with you. But please listen to us when we're trying to be heard.
Okay, so, and we are listening to you tonight, definitely.
Don't pass it, rephrase it. Let us read it. Let us hear that we didn't attend the meetings, we didn't attend the judiciary committee. We're bad. But also the notes aren't in the internet. Somebody go check. Whoever's supposed to be posting the notes and the summaries, they're not out there. I've looked many, many times.
Alderman, it allows for an option when the speaker to either identify the address, aldermanic ward, or general area of residence.
Okay, maybe you didn't see that. That's maybe it changed. It was made since
Maybe
you
it
saw
changed.
first.
I don't know, but it might be perfect now, but we don't know. And that's all I'm asking is, can we pass it when we like it also?
Sure.
Because you guys are there for us.
But I'd like to say a couple of things and maybe make a suggestion. I would just like to reinforce that, all of our phone numbers are on the city website. If you have a concern about something like this, I'm personally more than happy to talk to anybody. I've talked to some people about their concerns on this one. Give us a call. We have committee meetings for this very purpose. And it's okay, I mean, it's good that we're having this discussion here tonight, I have no problem with it, but I just wanted to reinforce that there are various methods of input that I would encourage you all to take advantage of so we can, get to these things in an agreeable manner. And I certainly, given the input we've had from the public advisor today, it sounds like there may be some things that does sound like there maybe are something we need to revisit. We're making it, our very best effort here, and we need to move expeditiously, as our attorney has pointed out. But we could table this tonight and bring it back next meeting and do some more work on it. There should be no problem.
Motion to table.
Motion to table.
We have a second on the table by Alderman Johnson. Any questions? We're going to table. Is that okay?
On the motion to table, Holly.
I figure I might as well say it now, it's my only opportunity, but I was planning to make a motion to table or even vote it down to send it back to committee tonight. I have a couple concerns. I wholeheartedly agree that has to go back to committee. You mentioned that, and this could be just because I printed off this one that was sent out to the alderman. It says, prior to the start of the meeting, the speaker must sign in on a form, sign-in sheet provided by the city and identify the agenda items to be addressed. This is the one that was sent to the alderman, and this has been changed since then?
I'm sorry, Fred, I don't know.
So, to clarify, that's still in the, I just printed this today. So that, at the very least, that's gotta come out. I agree with, I'm gonna go back.
I'm going to discuss everything right now, or just let the...
No, I wanna finish talking, Mayor. So, I thought about this, I read it through. Those of you that don't know, I'm a teacher of civic education, government, constitution, and if there's a bare bones version that we can pass that allows anybody to speak within the parameters, very basic parameters, that should be the way we should go about this. Because any rules that are those of you that don't know me, I've been elected for a long time, and I tussle with anybody I disagree with, and I'll talk to you on a sidebar, and I've not been scared of a conversation, and I don't plan on being scared of a conversation in the future. So by all means, if we can do a more basic version of this and send it back to committee and come back with something that's bare bones, that covers what the legal aspect has to cover, and the rest, it's up to people want to talk about.
I just would like to know, just so you know this going forward.
On the motion to table,
Yeah.
there really is no discussion.
That's fair enough.
So the motion to table should be voted on, a roll call vote, and then the ordinance is tabled, sent back to committee for whatever amendments you want to prepare, and then you can bring it back.
Roll call.
So it won't be the next meeting. It'll be probably a month.
Roll call.
Holly.
Aye.
Holly, aye. Farnwell.
Aye.
Farnwell, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Pulos.
Aye.
Pulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Frausto.
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
I think that the constituents should have the right to public comment. It is of the utmost importance to hear from our community whether I agree or disagree with what is being said. The public's right to speak is an important part of government, and government needs to be transparent and open. to speak freely, especially since they are the people who elected us, and I represent the 3rd Ward. For that reason, I table this.
Thank you for your comment, thank you.
Rita, aye. Donahue?
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 14 ayes to table.
Thank you very much. Move on.
The second item is ordinance number 2018-049. An ordinance of the city of Blue Island, Cook County, Illinois, pertaining to gambling, licensing of raffles, and video gaming.
Need a motion? Alvarado, second by Alvarado. Any questions? Roll call.
Holly?
Aye.
Holly, aye. Farinwald?
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling?
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson?
Nay.
Thompson, no. Carr?
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman?
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery?
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Pulos?
Aye.
Pulos, aye. Johnson?
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Frausto?
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato?
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta?
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita?
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue?
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 13 ayes and 1 nay, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
The next 3 ordinances deal with parking. Number 28, and you can vote on them as a number 2018-050, an ordinance creating no parking on Cooper's Grove Road in the city of Blue Island, County of Cook, state of Illinois, providing penalties for the violation thereof. Ordinance number 2018 ordinance is number 2018-051, 052, and 053. Ordinances restricting portions of certain streets for handicap parking only at 2815 Minnesota Avenue, 12244 Ann Street, and 13427 Street within the city of Blue Island, County of Cook, state of Illinois, and providing penalties for the violation thereof. And ordinance number 2018-054, an ordinance rescinding handicap parking restrictions at 2025 Union Street, 2165 123rd Street, 2239 123rd Street, and 2822 Minnesota Avenue in the city of Blue Island, County of Cook, state of Illinois. Oh, I'm sorry, and number 2018-047, an ordinance prohibiting parking on a portion of a certain street in the city of Blue Island, County of Cook, state of Illinois, and providing penalties for the violation thereof, Minnesota Avenue.
Do we have a motion? Alderman Curl, second by Alderman Lau. Any questions? Go ahead.
During municipal services, Mr. Marzal said he would explain ordinance number 047 to the full council. So if you could do that, please.
047.
Minnesota Avenue.
Go ahead.
Thank you, City Council. Ordinance 2018-047 regarding prohibiting parking on Minnesota Avenue. The police department did request to restrict parking here. This is a parking lot where we have found that there's actually a camper where an individual is living in that camper on a permanent basis without any kind of ordinance on file. The police is not able to ticket or cite that individual to have him no longer be a resident on our parking lot. So this was brought forward by the police department so we can address this situation.
Actually, it's not a parking lot, it is Minnesota Avenue, and there are apparently also trucks parking there illegally. Well, not illegally, but without.
No, he explained it just because it didn't go anywhere else. I just asked him if he could explain it to the rest of the council. So.
Any other questions? If not, roll call.
Holly?
Aye.
Holly, aye. Farinwald?
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling?
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson?
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr?
I'd just like to say, this ordinance 2018-47 is another example of things not being sent through the proper committees before they're presented to the council. If this was requested by the police department, it should have been assigned to public safety before it came here. I will vote yes.
It was at the last council meeting presented to you, and it was presumably.
It was never brought to public safety.
Pardon?
It was never brought up public safety.
I think one of the aldermen indicated that it should be submitted to public safety, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe they did, but it has never been submitted to public safety.
Well,
I'll vote yes for it, but things should be run through the proper committees before they're brought to the city council floor.
thank you.
Carr, aye. Pittman,
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery,
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Pulos.
Aye.
Pulos, aye. Johnson,
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Frausto,
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato,
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta, Vieta, aye. Rita,
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue,
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 14 ayes.
Thank you. Number 7 on the agenda is an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a special use permit to 2RD Enterprises, Inc., permit the construction of one single-family residential apartment unit on the second floor of a commercial retail building located at 13057 Southwestern Avenue, which is in the UTOD zoning district in Blue Island, Illinois.
Motion by Alderman Austin, second. By Alderman Tom Holly. Any questions? Roll call.
Holly,
Aye.
Holly, aye. Farinwald,
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling,
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson,
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr,
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman,
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery,
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Pulos,
Aye.
Pulos, aye. Johnson,
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Frausto,
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato,
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta,
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita,
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue,
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 14 ayes.
Thank you. Number 8 is ordinance number 2018-056, an ordinance granting a variation of the zoning code for the property located at 12001 Gregory Street, Blue Island, Illinois.
Motion by Alderman Austin, do I have a second? Alderman Tom Holly. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Holly,
Aye.
Holly, aye. Farinwald,
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling,
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson, Thompson, aye. Carr,
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman,
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery,
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Pulos, Pulos, aye. Johnson,
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Frausto,
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato,
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta,
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita,
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue,
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 14 ayes.
Number 9 is resolution number 2018-027, a resolution authorizing execution of notice of appointment of IMRF authorized agent for the city of Blue Island.
Motion. Alderman Austin, second by Alderman Farinwald. Any questions? Roll call.
Holly,
Aye.
Holly, aye. Farinwald,
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling,
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson,
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr,
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman,
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery,
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Pulos,
Aye.
Pulos, aye. Johnson,
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Frausto,
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato,
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta,
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita,
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue,
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 14 ayes.
Thank you.
Number 10 is resolution number 2018-028, a resolution approving a contract with Municipal Systems, Inc., and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to sign the contract.
Have a motion? By Alderman Austin, second. Alderman Farinwald. Any questions? Go ahead.
Could you explain what this is, Mayor, or could someone explain what this is? Carrie, maybe from Mr. Sherman?
Municipal Systems, Inc. is going to provide software and the service necessary to operate the administrative parking system, administrative adjudication system, and the building board adjudication system. Currently, they provide the software at this point in time, is that correct?
Yes, currently MSI provides the administrative adjudication software. This is to add on for the on-street parking violation component, so that they will be the software provider for any on-street ticket violations.
Any questions?
Did that answer your question?
It did. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You got a motion and second, correct?
Yes. Osling, Farinwald.
Any questions? Then roll call, please.
Holly,
Aye.
Holly, aye. Farinwald,
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Frausto.
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Pieta.
Aye.
Pieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 14 ayes.
Thank you.
Number 11 is resolution number 2018-029, a resolution approving a benefit program application, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to submit the application. This is to submit the application for health insurance for these upcoming renewal of the health insurance policy for the city present and former employees.
Have a motion? Alderman Fairwell, second by Alderman Osling. Any questions? Roll call.
Holly. Aye. Holly, aye. Farinwald.
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Johnson, aye. Frausto.
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 14 ayes.
Thank you.
Those are all the items I have here.
Thank you. Committee reports, Community Development Committee.
No report, Your Honor. Our next meeting is October 2nd at 7:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers.
Thank you. Finance Committee.
Yes, Finance Committee met on September 18th. Members present, Alderman Viera, Hawley, Farinwald, Osling. Absent, Alderman Frosto and Thompson. Also present, Bob Manthei, Drew from Enterprise Lease Company. There was no public comment. Finance Committee approved the following. Accounts payable for September 26, 2018 in the amount of $534,289.42. Motion for approval.
Motion, you have a second. Alderman Fairwell, any questions? Roll call.
Holly.
Aye.
Holly, aye. Farinwald.
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
No.
Thompson, no. Carr.
No.
Carr, no. Pittman.
No.
Pittman, no. Slattery.
No.
Slattery, no. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
No.
Johnson, no. Frausto.
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato.
No.
Bellato, no. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
No.
Rita, no. Donahue.
No.
Donahue, no. 6 ayes and 8 noes.
Bills will not be paid.
Bills were not paid.
Must advise the city council that bills are not paid. There can be.
Here at the end,
Bills as paid.
Is everyone receiving the accounts payable and the payroll in their packets?
We're not voting on the payroll right now.
I'm just asking if you're receiving those two documents.
I got mine.
Is everyone getting them? Is there one person that is not getting them? When I took over as chairman of finance, I insisted that all the aldermen get the accounts payable and the payroll. Before that, it was only allowed for the finance committee. I ask that if you have questions concerning accounts payable or the payroll, that you contact me prior to city council so I can pull an invoice so that you can go over it and see, what it is that you're questioning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just advising the council that their Prompt Payment Act does require the city council to pay its bills in a period of at least 30 days. There could be repercussions as a result of the failure to pay bills. I don't know without looking at the bills whether there's interest charged for non-payment or late payment. That being said, vote.
Alderman, go ahead.
Yeah, I got it. Just a statement is because that I disagree with not only your report, with all due respect, Alderman Osling, as as well as the treasurer. Because from the beginning, I've been asking for an audit. And I have not heard anything about it. And I disagree with it, period. And I have been disagreeing for how many years now? I've been asking for an internal audit, a forensic audit, and have not received one.
City Treasurer, want to say anything?
Just want to clarify, Mr. Johnson, audit, we've had an audit,
Forensic audit.
forensic audit.
We have not had one.
I think you should, what I think should happen is maybe our attorney or our auditors give you a specific clarification of what forensic audit entails and the cost.
I understand what it entails, that's why I asked for it.
We'll do that, we'll give you all the information, and then provide it to the council. And if the council wishes to do so, it's a prerogative. There's a big difference in clarification between a forensic audit and a regular audit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So a regular audit costs roughly the city $40,000. Okay, so I just want to clarify that. You can ask for
I
a
understand that,
forensic audit.
Treasurer. I appreciate that.
It's your peers that have to bring that up.
I understand that, but if we're talking about we got leaks of money and water and different things, and we been going on and drudging on and taking Peter and Rob and Paul and things of that nature, it just seems like we been needing a forensic audit to find out where these leaks and things are at. And I've been asking for it for years, so this is not the first time.
We're asking for a forensic audit. And again, I repeat, it's your colleagues or the legislative body to request whatever they want to do. So if one committee, whatever processes, that's where it's got to go. As a treasurer, audit is part of my responsibility as a regular audit goes. Other than that, I cannot request forensic audit. It has to come from the legislative body or the mayor of the legislative body, not the treasurer, not the finance director. Thank you.
Alderman? Next
Oh, I
item.
second. Okay, payroll for September 7th, 2018, in the amount of $330,032.34. Motion for approval.
Motion, second, Alderman Rita. Any questions? Roll call.
Holly.
Aye.
Holly, aye. Farinwald.
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Thompson.
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Slattery.
Aye.
Slattery, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Johnson.
No.
Johnson, no. Frausto.
Aye.
Frausto, aye. Bellato.
Aye.
Bellato, aye. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye. Rita.
Aye.
Rita, aye. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 13 ayes, 1 no.
Thank you much. Anything else?
Yes, the committee reviewed and approved the following: the Blue Cross Blue Shield contract, which everyone voted on tonight, the Raffle video gaming ordinance, the IMRF resolution, and the MSI agreement. Under discussion, Drew from Enterprise Lease Company made a presentation on leasing current truck and car fleet. Further information to come. TIF 3 is scheduled to be retired year-end. Notification will be sent to all taxing districts within TIF 3 by November 1st, 2018. I just have, going back to the accounts payable, I'm at a loss of what to do.
We have over $500,000 in bills that were not approved. I don't know what to tell you, other than what I've already said. There could be ramifications. I don't know what the vendors are going to say. I don't know if the vendors are going to want to continue to provide services for the various things that they provide to the city. So that's all I can tell you. And there is the Prompt Payment Act, which as a city are bound by law to adhere to. And so maybe this council should take into account the ramifications and possibly reconsider its vote. I don't know what else to say. And if Alderman Johnson believes a forensic audit should be performed on all or a part of the accounts of the city, and it's certainly something that the city council adheres to and move to provided that's put on the agenda in a proper fashion, okay? But at this point in time, your bills are not going to be paid.
Alderman Cruz and then Alderman Bellato.
A simple suggestion that we pay our bills and also mandate a forensic audit at the same time. So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, we're stifling, we're almost like blackmailing. I don't want to do that. I think we should pay our bills as we're required to, but also, Mr. Johnson and the rest of us who agree to this, mandate a forensic audit, period. And how we do it, go through the judicial committee and
I
submit
think
it to the.
you would go through, you would just have a motion placed on the agenda, and you might want, I'm not familiar with the inner workings of a forensic audit, but I believe they generally are asked to focus on an account, when I say an account or a fund of one or more funds of the municipality. That is what I believe Alderman Johnson is trying to suggest. I don't want to speak for him, but I believe that's what he's suggesting.
It should be simultaneous. Things should be in motion. We shouldn't stop functioning as a city, not paying our bills in order to make this happen. Just make it happen. Request it. Somebody make a motion for the next agenda that we vote on a forensic audit and be done with it, and then vote for the bills to be paid. We can't do that.
I wasn't gonna beat a dead horse here and keep talking about the issue. I have a couple of requests. Since the attorneys opened up for discussion and talked about voting on stuff and all that sort of stuff, can't we just do the vote, be done with it, we'll vote on it in the next meeting like we're supposed to? But if not, my request is, I want to know every single month where we are, percentage-wise, in each fund and each line item. I know we heard rumors, never came to the council, that's outside the finance committee, that we're over budget in fire and police, and public works, and a few other budget line items. Once I get those figures, I'll make a more intelligent vote. Until then, I'm going to vote no, because we spent bigger accounts payable than I've ever seen in my 4 years on the council. $1.2 million, $900,000, $600,000. They're always around $300,000 to $400,000 for years. And all of a sudden now we're over $1 million in accounts payable until I get the percentages of how much is left in the fund. So we're not borrowing more money, looking for more money, increasing our fees, increasing water rates. I'm not going to vote for any accounts payable. That's just my position.
Thank you very much. I asked for it before, about 3 months ago. I asked in a public session, I wanted percentages of each account item available. I did ask.
Anything else?
No further business. The meeting was adjourned at 8:20. Our next meeting is October 2nd, 2018, 7 o'clock, East Annex.
Thank you much. Public Health and Safety Committee.
No report, Your Honor. Our next meeting is October the 9th, here in the East Annex at 6 o'clock.
Thank you very much. Municipal Services Committee.
We'll make a report of the approved minutes after they're approved. Oh, sorry.
Municipal.
Okay. Municipal Service Committee meeting was called to order Tuesday, August 28, 2018 at 6:32 p.m. at the East Annex of City Hall, 2434 Vermont Street, Blue Island, Illinois, with proper public notice given. Roll call taken of the committee with Alderman Slattery, Bellato, Carr, and Donahue present, also in attendance, Ted Rutherford, Jim Postal, Bob Jackson, Eric Alvarez, Ben Tomera, Carol DePace, and Dave Hensley. Public comment. Carol DePace asked about the rescinding of the water rate increase, and she stated that she is not happy. Dave Hensley asked where the water fountain was in the East Annex. handicap parking applications. A motion by Alderman Fred Bellato, second by Alderman Candace Carr, to approve handicap applications for 2047 Broadway, 2827 West 121st, 12339 Maple, 12951 Division, 13121 Chicago Street. Voice vote, motion passed, and those were on the council tonight, which passed through. Rescind water rate increase ordinance. Mark Marzell was sick. Alderman Donahue said the ordinance that he requested from Mr. Marzell 2 months ago, and the ordinance that was provided to the committee to vote on was written wrong. Alderman Slattery asked why we were not given authority to vote on the increase. Alderman Donahue and said that Marzal did not provide the correct rescinding ordinance. He wants to rescind the ordinance that gives the mayor the authority to raise the water rates without a vote. A copy of this ordinance has still not been provided to the committee. Alderman Donahue said he wanted the correct copy and wanted it within 1 week for the committee to review. Alderman Slattery said she didn't like the small print that was used to report the increase on the bill. Department heads submitted reports for golf, water delinquency, and rec center. The golf course reported the season is going great, very busy, and Public Works replaced the cart bar. The rec center reported summer camps were a success. All programs are doing extremely well. The book bag giveaway and back to school event was a huge success, giving away 100 book bags. The softball game went great. Security is needed due to recent break-ins. Sadly, one of them resulted in stolen book bags right before the event. The Blue Island Park District helped and did a great job with the baseball fields. Public Works reported Philip Halberton, liaison for ComEd, reported all the ComEd light bills, ComEd light poles, which are the wooden poles. The bulbs are being switched to LED bulbs without cost to the city in 2019. Motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:50 p.m. made by Alderman Bellato, second by Alderman Carr. Voice vote, all in favor, motion carried. The next Municipal Services Committee will be held Tuesday, September 25th at 6:30 p.m., which was held tonight. And our next meeting will be October 23rd at 6:30 p.m. in East End.
All right, my apologies, Alderman. We have a report. The next committee meeting will be Monday, October 15th at 6 p.m. in the East Annex.
Thank you much. Council?
Mayor, if I may, I have one other item I forgot to mention in my business. You're all familiar, I'm sure, with the litigation that has been referred to as the Jawa litigation, the Joint Action Water Agency, that the city and also Harvey, Markham, Midlothian, and Robbins were all members of at one point in time. The appellate court just issued its opinion and it affirmed the dismissal of the entire lawsuit. The litigation is now ended unless the plaintiff, the Old School Yorn Associates, Inc., would file a request for an appeal or petition for leave to appeal with the Illinois Supreme Court. They were granted, so that's an item of good news. Need a motion to go into executive session.
I just have one, can I say one thing?
Sure.
You know, like Alderman Bellato said, I hate to beat a dead horse, but again, every council member gets the accounts payable. Every council member gets the payroll. In the past, you never got the accounts payable or the payroll, and you always voted yes. Now all of a sudden, I've never, in all the years I've sat on city council, have had the city council vote no on the bills that we get that we have to pay. On the payroll to pay our employees. I've never seen anyone vote no on that until this city council. Thank you.
Moving over to, before we go into executive session, automatic comments?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alderman.
Mentioning the website, my name, correction on the ward is still same.
Okay.
should be 5. I'd be glad someone would change it.
Thank you. Alderman Carr.
Veterans Memorial Middle School is having their Hispanic Heritage Night this coming Thursday from 5 until 7. They have food, they've got kids acting out certain historical events, so everyone's invited if you want to stop by.
Am I welcome? Am I welcome?
I sent you an email inviting you.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to reinforce what the mayor said earlier in the meeting about the tree campaign. Very successful. Actually, I'll give them a positive correction. It was we have planted 97 trees so far this year, and so we've. Well, I'm suggesting we move to a goal of 500 trees over the next 5 years. And in that regard, it's a project that has taken on a life of its own, except that it's being run largely by Val Kehoe, who could use some help. So we're going to try to put together a committee this year, this fall, getting ready for next spring's efforts. And so if you'd like to get involved with that, very rewarding. And I would urge you to get a hold of me or Val or somebody.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Alderman, go ahead.
Yes, Mayor and Council, Blue Island Untouchables celebrating 60 years of football and cheer. This Friday, we had a meet and greet at Borough Bowling Alley from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. All is invited. Saturday is the parade from Hart Park down Western from 10 a.m. to noon, and Sunday is homecoming at Memorial Park. I just wanted to add a couple things to what we were talking about. Ms. Orozco had made a comment about the homeless people in Blue Island, and I educated and tested for HIV and AIDS for years, and brought a lot of resources to the homeless. And there's a lot of people, even though affordable recovery has a place for them, there's a lot of people that just don't want to belong part of nothing. They want to continue to do whatever they do that made them become homeless, whether it's drugs or substance abuse, or even like in some shelters, some of my clients have been raped that was already tested positive and things of that nature. So it's a security issue and it's a personal issue for some of the people who just still want to become homeless. It's not like it's not places there for them. And the next thing is I got a safety issue with the bridge on Kedzie. I need a fence that's tall, because they're throwing bottles,
We'll talk to the
bricks.
Like
Right.
they did at 139th Street, so they don't.
Exactly. And there's people that live down there, and they throwing bricks and bottles while they out there on their lawns, kids riding bikes. Something very bad can
We'll put a
happen.
call into the comment, because that's their jurisdiction. Anybody else? If not, any motion to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation. Alderman Maria. And second by Alderman Cruz. All in favor? Thank you very much. Standing room only. Feels nice in here, huh? Any motion to reconvene? Alderman Cruz, second by Alderman Pittman. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Holly. Here. Mary Long.
Here.
Gosling. Here. Thompson, absent. Carr.
Here.
Pittman.
Here.
Slattery, absent. Pulos.
Here.
Johnson, absent. Fausto, absent. Bellato. Here. Medina.
Here.
Rita.
Aye.
Donahue.
Here. Aye.
10 for this adjournment.
In closed session, the city council made a finding of imminent litigation with respect to portable recovery. There was then a discussion of what type of litigation may be considered. The city attorneys were given direction by the city council and will follow up and advise the council accordingly. The city was also informed that a proposed settlement has been made in pending litigation involving the Island Bar, and the city attorneys are pursuing a potential settlement and will report back to the city council if something can be finalized. Thank think that was the extent of what was discussed in the closed session. What I'm going to suggest to you, and you certainly don't have to follow this advice, but while we were in the closed session, I did some perusing of certain of the bills which you may want to consider paying independent of the entire payables. You have an electric bill of $28,755. You have health insurance, which is something that you really must consider for your employees, and that's $173,593. You have a refuse bill of $114,496. Servicegate apparently performs regularly at the golf course. Their bill is $29,125. And then you have the Metcon, who performed some significant, what appears to be significant services on a lift station at the golf course for $37,365. And Mead Electric, who I believe repairs lights and traffic signal control devices when they're knocked down. Those are the six of the largest bills I could find that I thought you may want to consider acting on separately, which you are certainly able to do. You can also act separately on any of the other bills. There are bills in here for payment for medical services for employees who are receiving medical care because of workers' compensation. They're smaller, but those are 6 bills totaling $392,134. It's up to you. You can make a motion to address each one of those separately. You can make a motion to address them as a package. You can make a motion to address each bill on here one by one if you care to. But it's something you may want to seriously consider. Now, when I brought this to the attention of the treasurer, that I believe that this is not just it's a serious matter when you don't pay your bills and you opt not to pay your bills, which is what you did. He indicated that he thought it wasn't that important because $275,000 was being paid to the hospital, Metro South. Metro South is not on this list of payables. So I don't know how closely he may have looked at it, but bottom line, you do have some bills here that probably should be considered seriously for payment because the minute an employee's health insurance or health claim is not paid because you haven't paid your bill, there are going to be serious ramifications. Okay? Likewise, when the refuse is not picked up because you haven't paid your bill, there are some ramifications that have to be dealt with. As with the payment of your electric bills for the lighting services that are currently provided to the city. So it's up to you. But my advice would be that you take care of those matters and then look carefully at the medical bills for employees who are receiving medical care as a result of their workers' compensation claims. That would be a bill to integrated imaging for a lousy $41.29 for an employee or a police officer who was seriously injured. There's another bill to MD orthotic and prosthetic for that same employee for $114.93. There's a bill to the Payless Fire Protection District for transporting a police officer who apparently was injured on a call. There's a bill to bionic prosthetics and orthotics for that same police employee who I mentioned earlier for $608.19. I don't know what the medical providers do when they don't get paid, but some of them say we're not going to provide any more service, and then the employee says to their lawyer, the city's not paying my workers' comp claim, and then the lawyer goes to the industrial commission, or what was the industrial commission, and says, hey, this city's self-insured and they're not paying their claims, and then we get penalized. So my advice to you is to look at each one of these separately or as a package and approve them.
I would like to make a motion that, to start, that we pay the bills that the city attorney just listed, because I can't find any one of them to be one that I don't think we should pay.
First of all, it doesn't have, the motion has to come from somebody who voted.
No, these are separate. The motion was to approve the entire package, okay? So this would be to approve each of these bills separately, and I'll be happy to list them for you and go through them. It will be in a motion, a second, and you can go through each bill and vote on them separately.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve everything but the Odelson and Sturt bill. And I say that, I've been asking Mike Marzell for almost a month now for copies of their invoices. So it's nothing against you, Carrie. I've asked for copies. I've not even gotten one reply saying, hey, we'll get them to you, we'll do anything. I've asked September, whatever the first Wednesday of September was. I followed up a week later than last Thursday I asked, so.
Kevin, you could have called me. I would have gotten you the invoices. I don't understand
Go
this.
ahead and make the motion if you get a
Hold on,
second.
and I have one other thing to say, okay? When the law firm before Odelson and Sturt came, we got some hefty bills from them, and not one person voted no. You all voted to pay them. But if you would have called me to get the invoices, I would have gotten them to you.
I'll call you next time, but I've asked now for a month though, so this is, I would like,
Well-
my motion is to approve everything but the Odelson bill.
Is there a motion second?
Second.
By Tom Holly. Roll call, please.
Ollie.
Aye.
Ollie, aye. Farinwald.
Aye.
Farinwald, aye. Osling.
Aye.
Osling, aye. Carr.
Aye.
Carr, aye. Pittman.
Before I vote, I want to make sure I know what I'm voting on.
Everything except Odelson and Sturt.
Everything except the bill for our law firm, which was $36,000 and some change.
And which part of that was the Island Sports Bar and Grill?
But that's the motion, that's what you're voting on. You're voting on paying every bill but that one bill.
Aye.
Pittman, aye. Poulos.
Aye.
Poulos, aye. Bellato.
Staying consistent, no.
Bellato, no. Vieta.
Aye.
Vieta, aye.
Ain't no
Rita.
reason
No.
Hey, no
I
comment.
think half the council's already left. This is a wrong vote to take. They're not here to give their
Yeah,
opinion.
they
They
should
should
have
start with
stayed.
the meeting.
They should have
The
stayed.
city attorney is not the mayor to call motions after executive session, after regular sessions to open up the
It's
floor.
on the-
I'm not here, Brand stays, nobody here, not even being
We're on the
taped.
agenda.
This is out of order. I don't care if it's ethical, unethical, on the open rules or nothing. To call a meeting after we voted on it twice already at the regular session is bullshit.
This is the regular
All right.
session, right?
After executive session, when everybody's gone and half the council's walked out, this is
We made a
wrong.
big mistake, and we're not gonna correct it?
My vote's no, that's it.
Okay.
Go on, continue.
Wells, no. Vieta's yes. Rita's no. Donahue.
Aye.
Donahue, aye. 8 ayes. There's 2 ayes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Wait a minute.
No.
Motion to adjourn.
We're not following the rules anyway, might as well just,
Motion.
we're done, let's
By
go.
Alderman Pittman, second. Alderman Poulos. Good night, everyone.